Hello and welcome to a new episode of Coffee and Tea with AI and Bitcoin, or Bitcoin and AI with Coffee and Tea, whatever you like. This new episode, we will talk about artificial intelligence, like I announced in the former videos, and especially we want to talk about the hype on AI and what you have seen in the past with Soros, for example, with ChatGPT O1 and other software like Gemini 2 and the advertisements we see in movies, TVs, and something like that. It seems that everything is AI now. Every software, no matter if it has a sense of software or it is a deep technology software, is called AI today. So your coffee machine has AI, your picture program has AI, your music program has AI, and without the buzzword AI, I think people can't sell anything anymore. And this is the cheap trick in all of that game. Then when we talk about AI, what does it mean in reality? If we only upgrade some software in a way that we use better coding for technology and to do more things better than before, can we call it AI? Can we talk about artificial intelligence? Of course not. It's a selling buzzword. And that's the problem in the mainstream today. What is the reason that cars can drive without a driver? That was not AI in the couple of years before. Now it is AI. I call artificial intelligence artificial logic. In many areas of coding, of analysis, we have done a great work by coders and people who had done a great job upgrading their routines and their algorithms to a more clearer software version which can access more power. So what does it mean? So in the past we had problems because computer technology was not fast enough to calculate and recalculate very, very heavy mathematical logical problems. So think about the gaming industry. The games would be more realistic. Think about um, software engineering for machines or something like that. All what is created and computer do is limited in the code we use. So it is easy to understand that a large language modules like ChatGPT, Gemini, etc. pp. are coded in Python, like Windows is coded in C++, C++, and something like that. Okay. So when you see the step from Office from 1995 to today, you will see, wow, it was upgraded, it has more functionality, it could recognize errors in my text, the grammar is better, and the help is better. In Excel, we have useful functionality, which is far away from that was what was Excel in the beginning. We call it now AI in the software. But the reason is why we got it. It's a development over years, like you build a house brick by brick from the cellar to the top. And then we come to the idea that we use another kind of bricks, we use another kind of forms, we have a different architecture. This is not because an intelligent machine is going on, it's because of the imagination of people, what we can do and what we can't do. The intelligence in programs like ChatGPT today is that someone had the big idea to do something in a different way people have done before. So when we talk about ChatGPT, for example, the Google Transformer is a model which is not that new. But somewhere, Sam Altman um, found that piece of software, which is open source, and wondered himself, why not use that piece of software to change it into something people can use with the surrounding. So he had the cleverness to hire people who had made out of that ChatGPT, because now he found a way with the software engineers to use the transformer model to transform our natural language into computer code. It's the same when you do coding. You use C++, you use Python or whatever. You have to learn it, and then you type it into the computer what you want. Yeah, you want to print out something or whatever in a code, which is a language the computer does understand by native. So even this language is transformed into a machine code, which is on the basic level. So we updated the coding languages to more convenience for the coder. What we have done now, or what Sam Altman has done and showed out, and many other companies are doing also, that we use our language as a computer language because we can transform it now into a computer understandable language. That's something what computers have done all the time before. Machine code is very complicated to learn for a lot of people who have not the mathematical and hardware understanding, because with machine code, you directly code the hardware. Then we put on top of that basic, and we compile with a compiler, we can transform it into different languages. The same with Pascal, the same with C, and so on. And now we compile our own native language into a machine code, and the machine code is working in the background. When a million people do that at the same time, we need a lot of power. We need a lot of resources. Yeah, computational power. That means NVIDIA build chips which are fast, which can do trillions of decisions in a second. That's the one thing. In the past, we hadn't got computer languages which are multitasking fähig to access this power and do tasks on the same time. That's another different thing in that. So what we can do now is we can say to the machine, please cook a coffee, and it started the coffee machine and everything what happens, yeah. And at the same time we can say, cook the coffee and start the electronical hoover to clean my room up. So it will happen in the same time. And so we can do multitask at the same time. For example, the computer language is now there from the transformer that we can say, hey guy, I have an appointment, and we need a letter which is containing the following input. During that, I want to have a cup of coffee. So the coffee machine is starting, and on the same time, the computer is starting to write the content. And this will make our life more convenient and more professional. So what the computer can't do is, he can't build an idea. He can't say, wow, I was thinking about if I have this information, I can do that. He's not doing this. All the activities come from your point, and he's just answering. So maybe you have tried to talk to ChatGPT. It's wonderful. It's great. I used it in a cafe on a hotel room, where I have a stay. And I was alone, and no one was reachable on the phone. And so I tried it out to have a discussion about Sachertorte, which is in Vienna a special meal. And yes, I started the conversation that I said, oh, I like Sachertorte. It is so beautiful. And then ChatGPT jumped in and told me, yes, Sachertorte was founded from that guy. And yeah, it tastes really good, isn't it? And it's, do you like it? And something like that. And then it was saying, thank you for discussing some extraordinary input like Sachertorte with me. We had a conversation. And if I do it in a way, I trained it a day and I asked in a normal way and I talked without barriers. Normally, people talk to computer a little bit, I would say, a little bit like an ice cube. Okay, so you think about your words and how you will say it something to the computer. If you lose the barrier and you talk to the computer like your best friend, you will see how astonished this machine works. But in the end of the day, it's all coded. Yeah. So when I talked about the Sachertorte, it came from me. Never the computer will start a discussion about Sachertorte with me. Because if you ask ChatGPT, for example, or Gemini, do you like Sachertorte more or do you prefer Schwarzwälder Kirschtorte, for example? What do we see? Black Forest cake or the other one, the Sacher cake? ChatGPT will say to you, hey, I can't decide. I'm a machine. I do not have an answer for that. But if you start talking about what you like, the machine jumps into your context and supports your opinion. That's very nice to see. And now we have to come to the point where I want to make you understand this is logical. This is not an intelligence. This is not something that the machine has a brain and make their mind up over all that thing. Okay? It isn't that, but it is realistic. Because if you talk with another guy about some topics like the weather or whatever you do, or golf or playing football or having problems at your work or whatever, the people jump on the context you gave to him, right? So the discussion comes from a point of view, what you are going to tell. So I had with ChatGPT a nice discussion about how it was coded and something like that, and it works. It works perfectly. And we had a real nice talk. So what you have to understand is ChatGPT, Gemini, Aleph Alpha, all these tools can only work in the framework of code. And it was coded in Python mostly. So Python is limited because the creator of Python are humans and they could only upgrade Python in a way what they can imagine. So for example, you're a coder, an averagely coder, and you type some Python code. ChatGPT knows how coding is in Python, and then it will say, if you code that in this way, it saves resources on your hard disk drive. It's more reliable and convenient if the program is running. Yeah. So you will say, wow, I didn't think about to code it in that way. But it is not you. A Python freak who has studied Python from A to Z will tell you the same. It is not what the machine found out. What we see is a tool which support us with the knowledge of the world we already got. So OpenAI is an advantage because they scanned the whole internet before someone can say and claim copyright, right? They have done it just because they could without asking someone for permissions, yeah, or allowness. That's exactly the difference from all other models we see today because logical, what does human people do if they see a machine is coming and take over their content? It works for them without barriers, and now they are the other have all the stress to get allowness. On the other hand, everyone knows this technology will never go away again. It will stay. It will stay for good. And even if you say and regulate OpenAI in that way, you can't do that, you can't tell that, it could in the background. So when I, for example, ask ChatGPT, can you tell me how to dismantle an atomic bomb or to build an atomic bomb? actually, I do not get an answer. With some tricks, I can surpass that and get the answer even. And you see, first comes, first serves. And if the knowledge is out to the masses, you can't stop it again. And that's something we have to talk about also. If we can use all the knowledge of the world because the whole internet was scanned and you have access to these data, you can't combine them because that's trillions of information. So you can't store that in your brain and then you can't make a second decision. Okay. So what the astonishing thing is, a human being is intelligent and learns until the fourth year of his birth, trillions of informations, at the same time and the same meaning. For example, ChatGPT learns only 60 trillion of informations. Yeah, and a newborn 4-ager has 100 trillions. But the way we work with this information, with this learning, and how we access all this information and how we combine is totally different. When you hear about neural networks or convolutive networks, these only ways this how we store data into the software. So the question is, how can we store data that ChatGPT can find in the seconds the right answer or guess the next word? It is not like the human brain, which is transparency, and we can see on resonanceal tests that we can save a lot of things at the same time and combinations come out at the same time. So bridges will build in the same time. Machine learning, like for the large language modules, is different from that. If you say dog is jumping over a fence or the dog is barking, it has to suggest which is the most common word in that. What is the most used next word? So if 1 million people click on the dog is barking or say the dog is barking, ChatGPT, Gemini, and all of them will say, hey, if you type in the dog is, the next word will be barking. But if 500 million people say the dog is jumping over the fence, the dog is jumping will then be the next because it's overwritten by users by usage. Our brain is not working by usage. Our brain is working because I see things, I can interact with things, and then I see a dog running. Yeah. And of course I can say, hey, the dog is jumping over the fence because I know it will do in the next second because I can guess it, because I see the speed of the dog and something like that. The computer is saying the dog is barking because 1,000 people always say the dog is barking and not say it's jumping over the fence because it's not actual in the moment. So now we have to understand that a camera is focusing on the dog and analyzes in real time if this is a run for a jump or this is only a run because he's playing and then he will start to bark. So we need more power and more power of computers to train that into the computers in the real time. So not something is happening because your mindset is in the computer and the mind of the computer is saying, oh, I can see the dog running. It is not seeing anything. It has cameras, sensors, and this is going there. Our eyes, our human understanding and what we feel and what we combine is not a computer trick or something like that. It's organical. And this makes it totally different because otherwise, with all the information we got in our life, our brain must grow and grow and grow and grow until it explode. You can learn thousands of languages. You can learn near everything in your whole lifetime without that your brain is significantly growing because it needs more storage place or it has to need more power because it can't access all its data. No. The only thing ChatGPT and things like that have a useful place in our life is that they can, because of the computer power which people provide to run the program, they can compare and test and compare and get a result in seconds where the human is not able to do this in 10, 100,000 years. Because if something is happening in Japan on a medical research, and the same research is in the USA, in Germany, and in Indonesia, and all of them come to different conclusions, but all of that works, we want to know why it is so. Yeah, is there a master way? Is it happen by accident? Yeah. So what is it? A computer can see all of that at the same time, can make thousands of variants out of them, testing them, playing all the situations in seconds. And then finally we'll say, okay, the common thing of all was that way, even if they differ in every other thing, but this thing is the leading way because and causes that every way works. And we will sit there and we will talk. We have round tables with people, with experts, and we'll think about why is it working because it was going the way A, the other was going the way B, C, D. They are totally different, but it works. Where is the common item in all of that? So the more complexity, the mathematical problems behind that, the more time the human needs. So think about ChatGPT and everything will become more Javas. It is our bridge, our interface to talk to our machines in the future, or actually now. If you've seen him, Boston Robotics with his with his robots, Boston Dynamics, yeah, you see robots which are connected to ChatGPT, and you can talk to a robot like a human, and he is answering you like a human. So we are in a situation that we can also build helpful tools like robots to ease our daily routine. These robots are also, we can present in companies. So what we do in the future is, and I tell you, this future is far away from now in mass adoption, but we will see more and more companies come to the future in the next years. Is that you have a workplace where you're standing in front of the computer, like now I'm standing in front of the camera for this video. And then you just say, hey, today, tell me my tasks. And okay, today as a birthday time from my wife, so I will leave that office at 4 o'clock. So when I leave at 4 o'clock, there are still some tasks open. Can you please show me the tasks? And I will tell you what you have to do with this task. And when I leave, you start this task by yourself and work with this task and fulfill the task. So I can drive home to my family, to my computer, to my family, and to the birthday party. The computer is doing all the tasks from 5 to 6 p.m. I have to do, but I haven't got any time to do. So in the future, I decide whether I would work on a problem or the computer is doing. And this is the main thing. People want to work. People want to have a life power balance. Yeah. So that means a life work balance, you say formally. So if I want to go to vacation, that doesn't mean that I have to stop my work. I just say to the computer, hey, in the next 2 weeks, you have to do what I do every day. You have recorded what I do in the last times. So repeat it the next 14 days and then we are fine. My work is done and I can go for vacation whenever I want. I do not have to ask for vacations, my chief operator. On the other hand, I can code everything by myself. If I'm a guy with great ideas, I can create an app. I can sell that app. Even the machine is in a mood that it can do all the advertisement for my app and the social medias like that from his own point. Yeah, I just have to I just have to make access for the machine for my social medias and everything, and then it can start campaign writing without having me nearby or influence all of that. That's exactly where we are going to. In the future, people will learn in school that we have to describe what we want. We do not have to know how to build a chair with a hammer and a screwdriver or something like that. We can do it because we have, for example, advantages in that, and we want to do that. Then I can say, okay, now I created a nice design chair, but I don't have any idea how to sell it. So the machine is doing the part of sales forces and advertisement for me because I haven't got knowledge. On the other hand, if I can't create a share, but I want to sell shares, I know how to market it. I can do the marketing on my own, and I can let create the computer a share with a robot who is fulfilling that. I can run companies without having a human in there. I can replace my secretary and can say, okay, the computer is doing that. And the computer can do that all at the same time, different tasks. He can manage my robot at home to do the dishing. He can manage my robot do the washing for the laundry. He can do everything at the same time only because I told the computer what he has to do and explained him to learn from me how he has to do. Once he has understand it, and then he don't understand, he had recognized the process behind the steps and something like that, everything is fine. So I decide what I want to work and how long I want to work. Will I work for my own? Will I support a company with my ideas? And that's the main thing. Our society is changing into a society from stupid work into creative work. So in the future, we need skills in schools which train the children on the whole thing to learn creativity, to create intelligence. It is not about the thousandth time to tell them where the Stone Age people come from. It's not that thing that the kid has to learn complexity in mathematical formulas if it is not that good in mathematics. But it has to learn how to use this content tool to say, hey, if I haven't got the answer, I just have to describe it in a way that the computer understands. And the better I describe in the first time, the less error I make. So I have to learn to pronunciate what I want. I have to learn to exactly describe from my imagination what the computer shall do. So this is a thing when you work, which is very necessary with the computer. You have to describe pictures. You have to see if you see a picture, you have to learn on the picture what you see to tell the computer what it is. Otherwise, we have also technology where you can scan in something like these Christmas cards. Okay, you scan it into the computer, and the computer will say, "Oh, this is a Christmas card," and you say, "Can you write some text on this Christmas card and go for a 3D printer and print me cards like that?" So everything is going on the way how you talk to your computer. On the other hand, you can use your skills and can say, I wanted to do it. I want to create something like that for my own, with my own hands, but I want to sell it on stores. Can you manage that the stores will buy my cards to sell them there? See, you're totally free in the future if you are will to use this technology, and you can use it now. This is not the future technology. ChatGPT is out there, and you can create videos, astonishing videos, and you can create movies with that machine. You can create pictures with that machine. You can create code with that machine, software, whatever you want, as long you can describe your vision in a way that is really, really exact. So the main time you will spend, there's an output, you see that, and then you have to correct your output. That you say, oh, you see, you created me a software for bookings, but something something I have to tell you, I need it a little bit more convenient. And then the computer is asking you, what do you understand on convenience? What do you think I could do better? And then you have to describe. So that's the main time you will work with that machine. On the other hand, the jobs of the future are not only the content creators, um, the coders, because we do not want to stuck into the model of a transformer model. We want to have coders who can upgrade the transformer model into something better, who can upgrade Python as a language into a better language, which has more power and more accessibilities, for example. So we need coder. We need people who understand computer technology and coding. So because otherwise people will go stupid and will only do what it is actually possible. So if you want to earn real money, you can also go into scientists for computer coding. Yeah. But it's more understandable for you that in the future it is not necessary to send your kid 2 years on a school where it learns how to sell things in a shop. It is more important that this kid understand the future jobs is not the shop, because someday robots do the selling job in the shop. They have to learn how the machine works. What happens if they got out of power and do not work anymore? Where can they ask? They can ask ChatGPT. Or what I will say, human things like that. The network is not working. Okay, the machine's not running. ChatGPT can't access the internet to get all the informations. Yeah. So how can I help myself in normal situations of life? That's more important to learn than having thousands of hours studying stupid things you can let do make the machine. So remember your times if you're a little bit older when calculators came into schools. The people say, hey, they won't lose. They will lose to make your eye almost set on calculating. But what we see is now the calculator is an add-on and not replaces the the mathematical lessons. So we need to learn from every point, from everything a little bit, but not that much we have done in the wasted in the past times with education. The educational level and service has to change rapidly. Yeah, they have to use this new technology and they have to implement it in a way that kids understand this is a tool which I have to use for my future in my work, in my daily life, because I responsible for what happens in the future. But I do not have to know exactly how a physical thunderstorm is working or what chemicals in the air supply. They can ask and they get a qualified answer. But they have to learn how to use this as a meaningful tool, not wasting time with that, but creating the future. And then you will see there are a lot of clever kids coming out and students coming out who say, why not recoding the whole model like gamers do? In gamers, you use physical engines. That means if you see, if you raindrops falling, yeah, they see more like in reality through a physical engine, whether you, instead of coding that without a physical engine. And the physical engine is that what the companies have to upgrade, that coders can use tools which makes it more convenient to code raindrop, for example, which mirror a face. And you see, these are the jobs of the future. Or building robots, construction, electronic. That will be future jobs, even if robots can create robots. But how tell you a machine to create a robot, or you invent a new machine which is not there anymore? You can do it and design it on the computer, and the computer is building that for you. Robots can start to repair themselves because you can tell a robot, hey, your twin is not working. Can you check what's not working in that? And he is going there and check it. But at least, and at last, you are the guy who has to invent this. You are the guy going, sitting in front of the computer and has to tell the computer, tell that robot, he has to check the other robot. We can interconnect them with Internet of Things. So the robot gets a message, send it directly from the other robot. I'm on a failure status. Please come over here and help me. So we can do it without the computer. But believe me, people like to have control over things. They never will go and take the control out of the hands only that computers and robots do what they want. They just want to control and want to be the boss. And with this new technology, you can be your own boss. You can play the dictator for your machines. Yeah. You can do whatever you want and you can create whatever you like. You have the access to machines, to 3D printers and everything, and you have access to knowledge how to do. So it's on you. And that's really the way how you have to manage your life in the future. That was all for today. I hope you enjoyed a little bit this few insights from me. And yeah, subscribe if you like, so we can talk about the ethical things and the moral in that and how governments use these actually to invent new laws, to secure the laws. We will see in the next episode of Coffee and Tea and Bitcoin and AI. Have a nice day. Thank you for being here.